I know you all are looking forward to warmer days and sunshine ahead, right? Some of you have gotten snow recently, rain. We've had a cold snap in northeast Oklahoma. Sore throat, yes. A little bit of everything seems to be going around right now. It's the same way around here. We've been cooped up for too long. We need to get outside and get some vitamin D, right? Get to feeling better. Oh, 60s would be good, Sarah. I would be fine with that. But snowing today, isn't that crazy? Well, guys, hey, welcome to ECE 107. This is Early Childhood Program Management. Oh, you had to put a sweatshirt or coat on. Oh, I don't like having to wear coats either. My favorite is probably shorts, t-shirt, and flip-flops. I need to live closer to the equator. I would probably be much happier there. So ECE, Early Childhood Program Management. My name is Shani Snell, for those of you who've never met me. Coming to you live from Fairland, Oklahoma, which is in the far northeast corner of Oklahoma. Tina, where are you from? I haven't looked that up yet. Oh, from Pryor. Wonderful. You're actually not that far from me. I have some friends that run a restaurant in Pryor. Have you ever eaten at the Mid-America Grill? Sarah, you are the only Ohio chick here. You're right. You do. Fantastic. They have good food, don't they? They have managed it, Mark and Marty, since it was Rockers. I don't know if you remember when it was Rockers, and there was rocking chairs all along the front porch, so it's a really neat place. Is anyone close to you? You know, I don't think so. Most of the ones on the list tonight, in particular, there's Katrina too, are Oklahoma. And let me think, where was Benita is now doing her externship. She is Nebraska. Let me see, whatever another student is from Kansas. I believe I have also one from Arkansas. Bailey, that's right. Bailey, have you moved down to Texas now? So we're sort of from all over, aren't we? We're a little melting pot in our class. That's great. Oh, and there's April too. Fantastic. Let me get you down. Well, gosh, guys, welcome. I'm so happy that so many of you have made it here tonight and made a little chunk of your day for our ECE lecture. Let's go ahead and get started with our announcements, as we normally do. If I can flip through here. Our announcements for ECE 107, we are in week 1 of the course. Most of you have already made your discussion board postings for week 1. Thank you very much. Due dates to pay attention to. Oh, sorry about that big typo there. Attenzione. Did you guys see it right in the middle of the screen? Why did I not notice that before? Let's put a smiley face on it. Due dates to pay close attention to. Initial discussion board postings are due Wednesday by midnight. That's right, Lita, and the field trip will be, our field trip is next Tuesday. For those of you that can make it, we'll be touring Tulsa Educare. Our live lecture is always on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock. Other assignments are due by Sunday at midnight. So the 2 days to really focus on each week are Wednesday and Sunday. So as long as you're hitting your deadlines by then, that's wonderful. I want you to get the optimum points, so be sure and get things in on time. And if you don't make those deadlines, I want you to turn it in anyway for partial points, because every point counts. Very important. Contact me if you have questions or if life gets in the way, like I like to phrase it. We're all human and things are going to happen. I would have a huge list if I wrote down everything that has happened to individual students over these last 20 years that have caused them to not be able to turn in assignments, or maybe had to take a month off from classes. So it seems like life will sort of even out, and it'll be easygoing, and bam, something happens. So the most important thing that I want you to do is contact me when it does happen, so that I know what's going on, and I will work with you to try to get through that period, and so that you can keep going on with your classes as well. We want you to be able to graduate and have your fabulous ECE degree. Oh, gotcha, Sarah. No problem, no problem. Remember, we're flexible. Okay, our student question of the week. I like to bring this up every week, guys, because you guys have amazing questions, of course. When is the 2016 CCC graduation? Several of you will be graduating in May. Woo! You're almost there. I have several that have graduated over the past couple months that I can't wait to see walk across that stage. So graduation is Thursday, May 26th at the Mabee Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma at 7 o'clock p.m. For those of you that are graduating, I know you have lots and lots of questions. Hang in there for about 2 more weeks, and on the CCC website, they will be posting a graduation guide that will give you all the relevant frequently asked questions. Okay? So congratulations if you're almost there. Good job. And Lita, April 16th, 2017. That's your magic day, huh? Fantastic. Well, it's gonna fly by. Before you know it, we'll be there. Okay, as I always say, we need to begin with the end in mind, and this is a quote from the fabulous Stephen Covey. If you guys have ever read any Stephen Covey books, I believe he wrote the 7 Habits of the Effective Individual, if I remember the name right. He's got good stuff. So beginning with the end in mind, I would like to first talk about our final project. Now, I don't mean to scare you. However, this is a big project, and it would be a very good idea to start working on this one early. And I really want to emphasize that, because in this class, ECE Program Management, we cover a lot of different items that you would need to know how to do or create if you were running your own, maybe you're running a daycare from home, maybe you want to be the director of a larger center. And there are certain things that you need to be familiar with, and this eFolio is designed to get you comfortable with these items, and you are going to have wonderful pieces of work that you could show as an example, say in an interview. If these came up, you would go, well, yes, I can write a program mission statement. No problem. So out of all my classes, out of all the ECE classes, this is probably one of the biggest final projects that we tackle. So I just want I want to get you ready for it, so that you can start eating the elephant a little bit at a time. Do a couple of the questions, maybe each week, or one each day, however you'd like to break it down. So let's talk about it real quick. An eFolio is going to be something that you create. So it's basically an electronic portfolio of your work. The purpose is to demonstrate what you have learned during our course and could be used in the future during a job interview to prove your experience with management principles. And guys, I know I brought this up before, but several times I have seen advertisements for center directors where the minimum education is an associate's degree, and that's what you guys are going to be graduating with. So it's actually pretty realistic that you may wind up in this position someday, maybe sooner than you realize. So part one of our eFolio. It's numbered here 1 through 11. I'm just going to go through it a little bit at a time. We'll also go through part 2, and then each week we'll go in it a little bit more in depth as questions come up so that we can get you ready for this, okay? You might want to, I think the best method or the best program to use for your eFolio is PowerPoint or Google Slides. You might also use Word if you wanted to, so Word or Google Docs. I think sometimes PowerPoint can be a little more flexible and a nice presentation. So you are going to write, number 1, an early childhood education program mission statement. I'm going to show you an example of one of those tonight. You are going to write an ECE program breakfast, snack, lunch menu for 1 month. So this is 4 weeks total, Monday through Friday, and you're going to be coming up with what they will be eating for breakfast, for lunch, and then as a snack. So as a program director, this might be something that you're designing and getting ready. You're also going to come up with an incident or accident report, something that I've seen a neat one on the internet called the Boo Boo Report that I love. So you're going to show me an example of it. This doesn't have to be an original piece of work. You just need to come up with an example. You're also going to have 10 interview questions for an infant teacher, a preschool teacher, a school-age teacher, and 10 interview questions for an assistant director. So whenever you're building this, I want you to, try to pretend like you're running a center and you're having to come up with these interviews. Oh, there's Trees too. Wonderful. Hi, Trees. So all of these things that you're coming up with, first of all, I want you to know there's lots of examples out there on the internet. If we go to the interview questions and you Google, there's Opal too, wonderful. We're going to run out of room, guys. No, we have room for 25, we're good. Welcome, Opal, welcome, Trees. Glad you guys are here. No problem, I'm glad you made it. Fantastic. So on our interview questions, if you will Google interview questions for infant teacher, you're going to have web pages come up with examples of questions for that specific job. If you Google questions, interview questions for school-age teacher, again, you're going to have websites come up with examples of questions that you might ask specifically for that job. Oh, Lita, exactly. You have great examples with menus because you work at the school. You're in the cafeteria. I forgot about that. That's probably going to be the easiest one for you, right? You'll have good examples. That's right. So interview questions, guys, they're out there. You don't have to come up with them on your own. No. Please use the internet and find 10 that you think would be a good pick, some that you might use as a director. Next, number 8, new employee orientation checklist with at least 20 items. So if you had a new employee at your daycare center, what are the most important 20 things you would want them to learn or be able to do, maybe, let's say, in the first month? And let's just take a minute. You guys give me some ideas. Oh, definitely, April, yes. Yeah, well, and what I'd like for you to do is use that sample menu to create your own. But you will get good ideas from that. Fantastic. That's right, Brittany. Well, good deal, because they're out there. And guys, the thing is, the wonderful thing with the internet is that we don't have to create everything from scratch. We can use sample menus as inspiration. We can find these questions for possible job interview questions. We'll even be able to find the employee orientation checklist as well. So what do you think? If you were designing a new employee orientation checklist for a daycare center, what might be something that you would have on that list that you would want the new employee to learn about or know about? Can you give me some ideas? What's something, well, in fact, April, you started not too long ago in your position, so this may be pretty fresh on your mind. Hygiene guidelines, yes, definitely. You could even break that down into bathroom guidelines, hand washing guidelines, diaper changing guidelines, because, you know, there are so many when you get into a center. What's something else? Can you guys, oh, playground safety, yes. So as a director, again, pretend like you're a director at a center. You would want to walk your teachers through this process. You don't want them to find out about these rules or guidelines after the fact. You want them to be prepared and know what to do. Benefits, vacation, sick days, exactly. Attendance, that's right, Opal. And, you know, and going back to sick days, you would want them to know what's the protocol for if they're sick, who do they call, when do they need to call. Inside safety, yep. What about dress guidelines? What can you wear to work? Some places might have uniforms or a t-shirt that you wear every day. Benefits, how about tornado procedures? That's something a teacher definitely needs to know. If the sirens go off, especially in our area, it's going to happen. Or a fire, exactly, Jessica, exactly. So you guys are kind of, you're getting the idea here. I don't want you to, on number 8, to go, what is she even looking for? So you're going to find 20 different things that a new employee would need to know. And those are all good examples. Good job, guys. Next, on number 9, a job description for an infant and toddler teacher. Let's say you're putting an ad in the newspaper or on the internet, maybe on care.com. What's your job description? You can Google these as well. They're on there. They're out there. You don't have to write this on your own. A job description for a preschool teacher. A job description for a school-age teacher. So different levels here. A big website I like to use is Indeed.com, and I know I've told quite a few of you about it before. I'll type it in. Indeed.com, because you can find so many different jobs, recent listings, and what Indeed is it's a search engine that searches the job search engines. So you wind up with a great, oh, fantastic, Opal. It's a good one. You wind up with job listings that might be in your local newspaper, it might be from a local center, it might be from a college, a public school. So it's a great roundup tool. It'll also be things that were listed maybe on monster.com, some of the different job sites. So it'll be all in one place, really great. So anyway, that's a good place to find your job descriptions and also find jobs. So this section here is part 1, okay? So that's part 1 of our eFolio, but like I said, we're going to go over this over and over again so that you'll be ready for it. Okay, eFolio final project part 2. There's only 2 parts, so don't have heart attacks on me yet, guys. Part 2. You're going to find a layout of a classroom floor plan, an ECE classroom floor plan. Pinterest is a great place to search for these. Just on the internet, searching for images for classroom floor plan will get you lots as well. So you choose if it's an infant, a toddler, a preschool, or a school-age classroom. But you're going to find an example of a floor plan. Then we're going to make a list of the items needed to supply your chosen floor plan or classroom using the catalog or the internet. I want you, I don't mean every single thing that would be in that classroom. Leave it, Pinterest is fun, you're right. You don't need every single item that's going to be in there, but for example, maybe you've chosen an infant classroom floor plan. One fairly large piece of furniture you're going to need are baby beds. And you'll need to put how many you would need for that classroom. What else might you have? You might have cubbies. You might have toys for a tummy area. You might have bookshelves, toy shelves, storage area for clothing. You might have, for infants, what else might we have, guys? Oh, diaper changing area. So you get the idea. I want the basic items that would go in that classroom, a little list. So, you know, if the sky was the limit and you were building an ECE center, how would you outfit that classroom? That'd be great. And then second, activity mats. Yeah, exactly. That's a good one too, Lita. You're going to find a layout for a playground. So I mean, when I say layout for a playground, it can be either a floor plan type drawing, a layout drawing, or it could be a picture, an overhead picture of the playground. So I want you to find one that is a good example that you would want in your center and list the items that you would need for that playground as well. And that's the last thing you're going to do. So you'll probably notice part one are mainly managerial things that you would need as a director. Part two is basically classroom floor plan, the items that you're going to need for it, playground, the items you're going to need for that. If any of you guys have looked ahead in our weeks with our Pinterest assignments, you might also notice that I've tried to tie the eFolio project together with the Pinterest assignment. So some of the things that you'll be doing for Pinterest assignments, you'll be able to use in your eFolio, because I wanted to make this project a little bit easier on you. It is harder. It's a fairly good sized project. So if you were putting this together as a PowerPoint project, you would probably have a minimum of, I'd say 16 slides to give you an idea. A minimum of probably 16 slides. So you would have a starter slide with your name and eFolio in our class. And then you would start with number one in part one, the ECE mission statement. And I would like for you guys to put these in order just as they are listed. Now this same information is available to you on our course page in week 4, where it says final project, eFolio. Okay? So about one PowerPoint slide for each one of these. So a minimum of probably 16 slides. I know some of you will have more though. So does that all make sense, guys? And if you would break this down into 4 weeks, it's got 15 items. You know, if you did 3 to 4 things each week, you would be about done by week 4. So I want you to take it easy and do this not at the last minute, because it could take hours and hours. But if you would start it sooner, that would be great. It will be fun, and it's totally relevant because these are all things you could potentially be doing someday. You never know where you're going to head in life. You never know what this degree is going to launch you into. So I want you to be ready for it, basically. Okay, so eFolio. All right, here's our first example. On number 1 in part 1 was a mission statement. So I found a mission statement on the internet. Treehouse Academy seeks to create a challenging learning environment that encourages high expectations for success through development appropriate instructions that allows for individual differences and learning styles. Our school promotes a safe, orderly, caring, and supportive environment. Each student's self-esteem is fostered by positive relationships with student staff. We strive to have our parents, teachers, and community members actively involved in our students' learning. Now, if you wanted to come up with your own name for your learning center, you could, and use examples from the internet for inspiration on writing your own mission statement. This one is fairly long. It doesn't necessarily have to be 3 paragraphs. 1 paragraph would be plenty. Okay? Okay, let me see. Lita, what did you say? If you do 5 a week, you can do it in 3 weeks. There you go. There you go. Exactly. You could have it done a week early, in fact, right? If you got 5 items done this week. Good idea. You want less stress in that final week of the course too, anyway. All right, guys. So real quick, we're going to go over Chapter 4. Are there any questions right now about the eFolio? Do you have any specific questions about the eFolio? Does that kind of make sense? And like I said, we'll go over it a little bit each time so that you'll feel good with this process. Everybody's good? Okay. All right. So Chapter 4 deals with teachers and caregivers in week 1. So let's talk about real quick. In your book, it's organized as the WHO of early childhood education. So we're talking about the teachers and caregivers tonight. What are the functions of teachers of young children? You're caretaking, you're providing emotional support and guidance for the child and for the family. You are giving instruction, and you are facilitating activities. This is what we're getting you ready for. So when we think about that, what images come to mind when you think of a caregiver? And for this purpose, I want you to think of a teacher, and let's think about a pre-K classroom, so maybe 4-year-olds. So what is your image? What do you think the caregiver looks like, the teacher as a caregiver? What all does a pre-K teacher do? Give me some ideas, guys. Oh no, I've lost everyone. We've all gone to sleep. There we go. There we go. So when you think of caregiver first, what do you think of? A babysitter. Oh, I'm sorry, Bailey. I hate it when it does that. I'm lagging, huh? Daycare, someone who watches elders. Someone who's nurturing. That's right. That's right. So when we think of a caregiver, we almost think of kind of a more of a grandmotherly figure, huh? Maybe an older person. Caretaker, someone who tends to the daily needs of another person. That's right. So as an early education teacher, you are a caregiver, but you're also a teacher as well. So now let's think about the images that come to mind when you think of a teacher. When we switch those words, when we go from caregiver to teacher, how does that change? Teacher makes you think of the leader and the boss. That's true. And yeah, that's right, April. You definitely picture a classroom. Formal dress, dressed up, pantsuit, skirt. So an ECE teacher is a combination, though, of a caregiver and a teacher. But isn't it amazing how just saying those terms brings drastically different pictures to your mind? Oh, I wondered what happened, Katrina. I'm glad you made it back then. Someone who educates children, that's right, Lita, exactly. So each are similar, but how we think of them are actually a little different. So we have to watch this in our terminology that we use as well. So the teachers and caregivers, again, what are some characteristics of a good early childhood teacher? Let's see if you guys fall into line here. A passion for teaching and learning, perseverance, you don't give up, willingness to take risk, maybe try something new in the classroom that you haven't done before, pragmatism, patience, and probably above all, flexibility. It's very hard to be an early childhood teacher without that flexibility because we have to be able to change on a dime, right? Also, an early childhood teacher, for their dispositions, we want someone that exudes respect to the children. And I know this can be a very big issue, and you may have seen examples of teachers either when you were in school or in others' classrooms where you just didn't feel like the teacher was respecting the child, that it did not go both ways. It's kind of painful to watch. So we have to, oh, hi DJ. We have to respect our children in our classroom and respect our parents as well. So if you cannot do that, you may have to look for a different job in your life. Also, ECE teachers have to be very creative. And the fantastic thing about ECE right now is that there's so many incredible resources out there at our fingertips. We also have to have authenticity, a love of learning. And when I say love of learning, it's not just learning and then stopping learning. You have to be a lifelong learner. So each year, each month, each week, you're going to be learning something new. And that's what I love about education. I love talking to fellow teachers and getting ideas from them, things that I wouldn't have thought up on my own. So you have to have that love of learning. You have to have a little high energy to keep up with them. And it's pretty important to have a sense of humor. Again, think back to your grade school days or junior high or high school even, because those tend to be the ones we remember the most. Did you ever have a teacher with no sense of humor? They never laughed. In fact, it used to be the rule in grade school that you were not to smile at your students until after Christmas. Have you guys ever heard that before? That was kind of back in the old days. You haven't. Back in the old days, and I'm thinking 50s, 60s, 70s, even in the 1980s and the 90s, I was still hearing this. As a new teacher, do not smile at your students until after December because you want to build that respect. Now, could I ever do that? No. As an early childhood educator now in the 2000s, do we smile? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So it's really hard to even think about being that sort of uptight school marm with no sense of humor. So we have to be able to laugh at our struggles and laugh at our mistakes and laugh with our children, right? So when you think about it, I want you guys just to take a minute here. What do you think? Good teaching, this is a little thing that I found on the internet, is 25% preparation and 75% theater. Have you ever thought of yourself as a teacher, as being an entertainer, as an actor, as an actress? No? That's really what you are. You feel better if you smile. You're right, Lita. You do. Life's too short to be grumpy. So as a teacher, you're all about improvisation. That is fantastic. Okay. I was pretty nervous when I first started teaching, and I had a professor at NSU in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, who said, you know, whenever you're teaching, when you're in front of your class, you're on stage. Don't think of it as just a job. You have things to do. You're entertaining them, you're catching their interest, you're getting them involved. So as an ECE teacher, sometimes that performance goes on all day, and you may be wiped out, exhausted at the end of the day, but you're sure to have had some fun, definitely. So start thinking about that, that you're more than just a teacher to these little children. Next, staffing, real quick, in early childhood programs. Think of a center near you that maybe you've gone to or one of your children's gone to. Think of the staff that they have at the center. This is going to vary depending on the size of the center, whether it's large or small. Oh, it does me too, Lita. It feels good to make children laugh. It does. I think it's even better when those children are having a hard day, and you can help snap them out of it by getting them in a better mood and getting them laughing. That's right. So depending on your center, you're probably going to have a head teacher or a lead teacher in each room. You may also have an assistant teacher. Some centers call these T2s. You might be a T2 teacher. You might also have support staff. A big thing right now in ECE is to have a floater teacher that goes classroom to classroom and relieves the lead or assistant teacher so that they can take a break, or maybe the lead teacher can write lesson plans, make notes to parents what needs to be done. So some people enjoy being a flow teacher because you get to go to the different classrooms and see different kids doing different activities. So that's one that's out there. Also, you're going to have, of course, secretaries. You might have somebody, a door greeter. You might have somebody attending a small library, depending on the size of your center. You may have volunteers. Lots of parents like to volunteer so that they can be a part of their child's day as well. You might have a board of directors to help you in guiding your mission. And you might have community professionals that either like to help out or like to stay engaged with the centers in their community, maybe have a fundraiser for you, whatever needs to be done. So you have to make all these connections, basically, when you're running a center. And what do we do as far as training and regulation goes in ECE? Well, we have teacher training programs, of course, that we go through, and CCC is an example of that. Some of you will graduate with your early childhood education diploma, and some of you will be graduating with the Associates of Occupational Science in Early Childhood Education. There's two different paths you can take in ECE, but we're both considered teacher training programs because you're getting college hours and we're getting you ready for your career jump or to get you moving up in your current career. There's also a thing called the Child Development Associate Program. Have you guys heard of a CDA? I know most of you have. From our textbooks even, it's brought up quite a bit, but it's actually in Chapter 4 of this book. A CDA is another type of certification that you can go through. It involves getting training, getting experience, building a portfolio, and taking a test that costs about $450. But many centers, if they like you and they want to keep you on and they're requiring the CDA, they may actually pay for you to do that. So it can be a wonderful thing. There's the TEACH program, kind of down south. There's different requirements for Head Start and varies center to center as well. You've got regulation and licensing possibly through DHS. And then you've also got your accreditation of your center. A CDA is not required for all centers, Katrina, but some do require it. So you may have, let's talk about you graduating with your associates. You may have your associate's degree in ECE, but depending on the center, and it varies greatly, they may want you to have the CDA as well. Here's an example. I believe it's KinderCare in Tulsa. One of our graduates is working for KinderCare. She has her associate's degree, but they're going to pay for her to go ahead and get her CDA because it's just something that their center decided everyone needs to have. But it's just kind of a bonus for her. She's going to wind up with a diploma and a fantastic certification as well. So a thing that you might do, guys, if you have a specific center picked out already that you'd like to work at in the future, you might call them and ask them what their requirements are, what their certification requirements are. Some of them may have that listed on a website that you could easily find out, or in their maybe they have jobs listed on Indeed or a newspaper, and usually they'll list if they require the CDA as well. So some centers want you to have a bachelor's degree to be a lead teacher. Some want you to have an associate's degree to be a lead teacher. It just depends on the center. I want you to know that it can really vary. Let me see here. Another thing that you might think about are professional organizations in ECE. Here's two of the main ones. NAEYC, you'll see that in your textbook. You'll see it here and there in different centers, is the National Association for the Education of Young Children. It is cheaper to join NAEYC as a student, and in fact, down here at the bottom where it says Tulsa chapter, oh, that's okay, Bailey. Bye, glad you got to come for a little bit. The Tulsa chapter, Northeast Oklahoma, this is for the NAEYC, I have it in the wrong spot, is $120 per year to join if you're already a professional. 95, I can't remember what that was, but 65 is if you're a student. So to join NAEYC, it's almost half price to do that as a student. Okay? This is something that you might do when you get close to graduation, because then you're going to have a whole year at your student rate, and it's going to look fantastic on your resume that you belong to a professional organization. Now, I personally belong to ACEI, the Association for Childhood Education International. It has kind of a broader scope. I get to learn about programs for their newsletter that are in other countries as well, and I love to draw inspiration from that. So, and it's also a little bit cheaper. I believe it was around, I wanted to say it was $35 to join for the year, ACEI. Now, both of these have websites that you can go to, and in fact, this week you have an assignment where you'll need to use that NAEYCE website to finish some of the questions. So in week 1, I think it's under media, there's a link to online resources. NAEYC's website is there. or if you'd like to browse on ACEI, you could do that as well. So it looks fantastic to be a part of a professional organization. Here's their symbols. You may have seen them in magazines or out and about. Also, it helps keep you up to date on what's going on in early childhood education. Are there new techniques? Is there a new curriculum on the horizon? What are the new trends that we're seeing? So it's a fantastic way to stay connected with your professionals and your core. Okay? Current issues that we're seeing right now, and we're almost done, guys, are historically a degree was not required to work with infants up to about age 4, but times are changing. They're requiring more and more certification and more education. We're also facing, as you guys have probably seen in the newspapers and online, we're facing a teacher shortage. In Oklahoma specifically, it's largely due to low pay and a high turnover rate. What we're seeing is we've got some fantastic teachers in Oklahoma, but they are going to neighboring states to get higher pay, better retirement, and I hope what we're going to see in the future is an increase in this pay to draw people back, and I think they are getting there. So you may look forward to this. Also, teacher burnout is an issue, and you know, the better we support our teachers, the better we pay our teachers, the lesser of a problem we're going to have with burnout. So we want to draw them to Oklahoma and keep them here, and we want to keep our native teachers as well that were born and raised in Oklahoma and educated here too. So what else? We're seeing more men in early childhood education. And it's very, very much needed. We're seeing more men in grade school positions, and I have to tell you, sometimes it's like night and day to see how a 3rd grade class will behave for a female teacher versus a male teacher sometimes. They need that balance. Children need to see women teaching, and they need to see men teaching. And for some of these kids, they're getting great positive influences by that as well. Maybe they don't have mom or dad in their life, and they're getting that opposite when they go to school. We're helping balance them out. So they're trying to draw more men into ECE as well. So those are kind of some of our current issues going on. And we're down to our last slide, guys. Do we have any questions? Tina, oh, actually, Opal, you're new as well. And Therese, you guys, real quick, since I've got Tina and Opal in here, can you guys give them any tips on being an online learner, on staying up with our class? Does anybody have some words of wisdom for them? Because I always love it when you guys pass things along. I know, right, Therese? We have to be able to, oh, good, Opal's listening. We have to be able to share because we go through this trial and error period where we're trying to figure out how to do these online degrees, and you've got some great people in this class that are veterans at it. So let's hear it. Katrina, Jessica, Lita, what would be your words of wisdom? Since we don't get to actually sit in the classroom, you know, and talk about these things. I like for you guys to be able to share too. Hang tight, guys. You'll learn a lot. I hope so. I hope you learn a lot. I hope you're excited to be here. Some of you, you're just now starting your core, and that's fantastic. Keep in touch with your teacher, yes. Turn everything in on time. Good one right there too. Use your calendar to mark off when you've turned something in, because it's easy to forget day to day if you've done something. And Katrina says, schedule certain times to do certain assignments. On Mondays, I usually do the discussions. Fantastic, Katrina. You do normally post early. That's right. So there's nothing wrong with posting your Wednesday discussion on Monday. Fridays for assignments due on Sundays. It's all about time management. I think you are so correct there, Katrina. It's good to have some type of a schedule. It's all about trial and error. That's right. I think I have shared with you guys before that when I was an online student, my best study time was in the evenings after I'd gotten my children down for their bedtime and turned the lights off and forgot about needing to do laundry or whatever else needed to be done around the house. So for me, nighttime was my best time to study and do assignments. For other people, they like to do it first thing in the morning, maybe get up really early, like 5 or 6 o'clock, and get things out of the way so that you don't have to think about them for the rest of the day. I'm personally not a morning person. Make sure you read through your e-text. That's right, Lita. And guys, some of you don't know this, but you're always welcome to. You can buy these textbooks. If you need a physical copy of the textbook, you can find some of these online used. You may be able to get our e-text, our textbooks, a physical copy for as little as $10 or $15. And for me, I prefer having a physical textbook. I'm old school. That's how I was raised. I like to be able to look it up and turn the pages. So it's not something that CCC will pay for. You get the e-text as part of your tuition that you're paying. But if you look on, oh gosh, what's some of the book sites, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, you can find some of these textbooks fairly cheap. And we will be using the same 3 textbooks through all 8 of the ECE classes. So it's not like you have to buy books every class. We're going to be using the same 3 books. So it may be a good investment. When you do yours at night when the kids are in bed too, it is much easier, isn't it, Tina? Exactly. Okay, bye, Katrina. All right, so I hope you guys got some good tips there. Try to set a schedule. I usually also tell people it's nice to set up an area for your computer and your notes that's like a desk area. So that it's always ready in case you get extra time, you can go work on it. Try not to wait until the last minute. Do things a little bit at a time to make it a little bit easier. All right, guys, I guess we need to go ahead and get off here. It's almost 9 o'clock. So I'm happy you're here. I'm glad you're in the program. Bye, Opal. You guys send me emails if you have any questions, okay? Good night. See ya! You're great, Jessica. I love that. Good night, Brittany. Bye, Therese. Bye, Lita. You guys are dropping like flies. Bye, Tina. Okay, not flies, trees. That's true. That sounds a little weird. Have a great night.